Hi guys, it's Floretta with Sparrowhawker Designs. Welcome back to my channel. For some reason, my brand new phone keeps quitting on me as well. Anyway, today we're going to do a circle and stitches video, and we're doing the Italian knotted stitch. And it is basically a V-stitch with a knot at the end of it. And you could just do a V-stitch and then do a knot. That's two different stitches. But every time you take your needle and thread through your fabric, you are breaking down the fibers of your thread. So this way, you don't have as many motions and as many stabs, if that makes sense. So I used the same stitch on both circles, and this was a variegated size 8 pearl cotton. This was a Sue Spargo kind of wool acrylic blend, which was kind of fussy, so I don't really want to recommend it to beginners. And this button came from Edwina, and so yeah, I will be using a size 8 pearl cotton to demonstrate the stitch, and it's really easy. You come up and you do just like you're going to do a V-stitch right there. And now normally when you do this part of the V-stitch, you would just pull your thread all the way through and then poke it back down in there and lock your stitch in place. But instead of doing that, we are going to wrap our thread . Whoops. One of the reasons I hate to use hoops is because I always get it hooked on this thing. But for demonstrating, there's just no way around it. And then you pull that, and then you get this little knot there at the end. And then instead of putting it in and pulling your thread through, you're just going to go up. Now, if you are right-handed, you're going to go this way, counterclockwise. If you're clockwise, if you're left-handed, you're going to go this other way, which is clockwise. And so you're going to pull this through. Then you're going to go right back next to the leg on this stitch, and you are going to bring that in, but don't pull through. Wrap your thread, use your thumb to hold it down, and voila, another knotted stitch. Of course, you know, I made them way different sizes, but so I wanted to show you a couple things not to do when you are wrapping your thread. So this is for right-handers. Well, I just did that wrong. Hang on, let's try that again. I just did a regular V-stitch. So when you are wrapping your thread, wrap your thread for right-handers this way. Okay? Don't wrap it this way, because if you wrap it that way, it looks different whenever you finish your stitch. For left-handers, you probably would do it that way, I'm assuming. But anyway, so yeah, so you just pull that, wrap that around and pull it through, and then you have a little knot at the end. Now, like I said, whoops, I just got an actual knot at the end. You could just do a V-stitch like that, and then anchor it, and then come back up and do like a French knot if you wanted to. I can't really do French knots with when I'm standing up in the air. But yeah, I mean, you could do that, but you do get a little bit of a different look too. So if you're kind of wanting more of a pronounced knot, you could do that. But like I said, the reason that we do the other is it's quicker, it's more efficient, and you don't break down your thread as much. But, and you could, if you also wanted like a bigger knot to show on your stitch here, you could wrap it twice, maybe even 3 times. I don't know, I've never done it 3 times. But yeah, then you get a little bit bigger knot there. I'm trying to keep my thread from coming out. You get a little more of a pronounced knot. Don't know if you can see that or not. So yeah, so it is just, and it is just, I'm always looking for edging stitches, so it's a nice edging stitch. You could also turn it around and do it the other way, where you would have the knots on the outside of the circle and the V's coming, out of the fabric here. You could do it either way. Anyway, that is our stitch for the week. I only have the one, because that's all I did on mine. So it's been a, you know what, I could go ahead and show you. I have another video on how to do this, but excuse me, I'll go ahead and show you the feather stitch. So the feather stitch is basically a variation on a V-stitch, as you can see. And really, honestly, embroidery, that is all. So you see, you come over, all right, then you go back the other way. I kind of line my stitch up with my needle so that I don't get huge or super small stitches. But embroidery really is just kind of a variation on a theme, you know. There are probably 15 stitches that can be done with a V-stitch base. So I probably will not demonstrate this. I probably will not use this stitch on the Circle and Stitches because I have never been able to figure out how to get the this stitch to look right in a circle. I need to practice that. So that would be, you know, so it's good that I showed it to you in case you want to use it someday on some other project. So there we go. So we got 2 stitches this week, both then variation on a V-stitch. So I wanted to let people know, and if you look real closely, my circles are not perfect. I've had a couple of people ask me how I get such perfect circles, and they're really not that perfect. But there are a couple of different ways. You can use wool is kind of probably the easiest to get circles to look pretty good, as opposed to any other kind of fabric. And you can use stuff like, you know, like, well, something round, and just kind of cut around it, like hold it and cut around that, and you'll get round. Obviously, you can trace and cut. There are also circle cutters. I do have a Fiskars circle cutter. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. And people who had asked for, I had a couple of people ask for little circles for me to put those in my Etsy store. Like, I just cut them up for you. I did that, and then they all sold. And so I put up, I think there are 2 more that I put up. So if you want, so it is a, so I am doing 25 blocks with 4 different sizes of circles. So I made up kits that were, I think it's 52 circles, so 13 of each size. There were 13 of all 4 sizes in various wools. And so if you want one of those kits, and they are all gone when you go to my Etsy store, just message me and I will make one special for you. because the thing about wool is it's not cheap. Wool is kind of expensive, and I don't want to take all my wool stock and cut it up in circles and put it on my Etsy store and then nobody buy them. So, you know, because then all my wool has gone to something else. And like I said, wool is not cheap. So if there are, I think there are 2 still in my store. I sold out completely. I put 2 more in. If those are gone when you go to my Etsy store and you still want them, just message me through Etsy and I will do like a special order for you. So this is what we've got so far. Yay. All right, now I'm going to show you some fun that I had with rusting some stuff. I rusted, obviously, I mean, I'm not going to show you the metal stuff. I already did a video on that. But I'm going to show you, this time I actually rusted some fabric and stuff that I had laying around. And so it was really fun. Tons of fun. And I think it yielded some really gorgeous results. This one, I rusted some metal things, and then with the water that was left over is what I dyed all of this stuff with. This one I just crumpled up into a ball and left in a little plastic microwave thing, and then the next morning when I got up, I unrolled it and I got this really cool texture to this. Isn't that nifty? I love it. This is some linen scraps. This is just a cotton, 100% cotton. Yes, you can see kind of some of the stuff. So some of it I pulled the metal things out of the jar and set them on the fabric to dry. I love to look at you can still see like the paper clips. I mean, how cool is that, right? And yeah, so these were just all cotton. However, and then this is linen and this is linen. The really interesting thing was fabric that I had now these were just the way they were, okay? These that I'm about ready to show you, I had actually tea dyed first, like, you know, a year ago. So everything that I tea dyed first turned a kind of weird gray, and then like the second time I put stuff on it, then some of the rust color came through, but the initial reaction was to turn gray. You can see the edges all around here, how that's gray. And so really interesting, I also rusted some dryer sheets. Now, I had a couple people comment that they did not know what dryer sheets were because in their country they don't use them. So these are little, I don't know what they're made out of, but you can see how sheer they are. And they come in a box and you put them in your dryer after you've done your laundry, and it helps prevent static cling, and it leaves your laundry smelling really good. So kind of probably like if you don't have these, you probably have a rinse or something that you use. Anyway, they're white, they're snow white, and they make fabulous texture in mixed media projects and in sewing projects. So and I can't stand to throw them away. So you can see how cool those turned out from the rust. And now, interesting enough, whenever I decided to put the tea bags in the rust bath, they turned out black. So all you science majors out there, I'm assuming there's some kind of compound in the tea that causes this, because it happened on the tea bags and it happened on the fabric that I had already tea dyed. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Anyway, the rest of this is just some fabulous, yummy doilies and stuff like that. Like how I love the whole grungy stuff, and I absolutely love this color. It's not really an orange. It's like a red-brown orange. I don't know, but Yeah, I mean, this is just beautiful. So in order to, how I rusted, so I got washers and screws and paper clips and um, uh, different things like that, safety pins, so forth and so on. And I put them in a glass jar with a mixture of vinegar and peroxide and salt. Now, you can Google it. There are lots of different lots of different recipes for it. I used 1 cup vinegar and 1 cup peroxide and a half a teaspoon of salt. I have also, isn't that yummy? I have also rusted things using, I think it was a half a cup of vinegar and a full cup of peroxide and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Both times it worked. If you have trouble getting lots of rust, it's probably because the stuff that you're trying to rust has either been coated or treated or is made out of some material that doesn't rust. So like I go to the hardware store and I ask them, I need your nuts and bolts and washers and stuff like that that will rust. And they always look at me like I'm crazy. And they always ask, you want stuff that does rust? And I say yes. And they always look at me like I'm crazy. And I just buy a handful, you know, like 10 of each, whatever sizes you want. And then I come home and I put those in that mixture. And then I start adding other things that I can find, like keys and pieces of chicken wire, you know, like whatever else I can find. And then, and I left most of this for a couple of hours. You can leave it overnight as well. And then please wear gloves. And only use glass and plastic. Don't use any kind of utensils or pan or anything that's metal. And anyway, when you pull the rusty things out, you put them on fabric or on paper or whatever you want to put it on. In fact, I've got some paper here that I did too. And to you know what, and then just take that water and start dunking your laces and trim. I mean, look at that, isn't that yummy? It's so grungy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, then just start dunking that stuff in there. It doesn't have to, you don't really even have to leave it sitting there very long, just a couple minutes. Don't rinse it though. I just squeeze it out and then lay it over, you know, the back of the kitchen chair. Which is oh my gosh, my family thinks I'm crazy. And honestly, like, you come down to my, because I do more than just stitching. I do junk journals, I do mixed media and that kind of stuff. And you come down here to my lair and I mean, seriously, it looks like a madwoman lives here because I have an entire paper bag full of nothing but paper towel and toilet paper, you know, the cardboard in the middle, a whole bag full of those things. I have an entire box full of little boxes. I have junk mail. I have, like, oh my God, tea bags, dryer sheets. This is just a minuscule amount of my dryer sheet collection. So yeah, it does. It looks like a crazy person lives here. But anyway, so yeah, so I have fun, and I hope you do too. So anyway, these will look great. And if you're doing a really grungy slow stitch project, this will look great. Maybe you're making a fabric cover for a journal or a fabric book or something. This will go great in. There is still a little bit of a vinegar smell to it. If that bothers you, you probably could rinse it. If you rinse it, you probably are going to lose some of the color. I think the vinegar smell will eventually, I mean, it's not horrible, it's not overwhelming, and I think it will eventually go away. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to share all this loveliness. Yeah, I think that's it. So hopefully I have a grandson due like any day. This is my middle daughter's 3rd child. She has a boy and a girl. Now she's having another boy. And she's having some complications, and so they're going to induce her, I think, on March 1st if she doesn't go on her own before then. But her other two came very early, so we're really expecting this guy like any day. So I'm not exactly sure when I will get back on with my next Circle and Stitches video. If he does not arrive in the next couple days, I will try to get one done in the next 2 or 3 days. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you guys later.